How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Throwing Broadheads. My name is Riley, and today we're going to be talking about the Annihilator Broadhead. So, the things I really like about this broadhead is there's no vent, so the noise it creates is dramatically less than any other three blade I've ever shot. Another thing I like is the accuracy on it. So, it's going to fly and hit with your field points. I've seen this happen up to and past 80 yards. Now, at the beginning, when I first started shooting, they were hitting 2 inches low at 20 yards, but I was shooting a 380 grain arrow versus what I'm shooting now, a 420 grain arrow. And that has made all the difference. I haven't had any issues with them since then. Now let's talk about what they do when they hit something. So if you look at it, it looks very similar to a trocar tip of sorts. For instance, the Ramcam Hydroshock has the same design. Now, what this does when it hits something like a shoulder blade, which I'll show you right now, is it will punch through something and create a hole, versus with the shuttle T's on the same shoulder blade, how the trocar tip creates a small hole and then the three blades cut through the shoulder blade. This will punch through that shoulder blade as if it's the entirety is the trocar tip, which is something I'm really enjoying. Now, when I shot my pig, I made a marginal shot. It hit behind the left hip, went through the guts, and then popped one of the lungs, popped the diaphragm. That pig went 60 yards, and the blood trail was great the first 40 yards, and then it kind of trailed off the last 20 because it bled all the blood it was going to bleed. So now with this channel, I really want to showcase is what these broadheads do with ballistics gel and with a balloon in them. So I really like the idea of a bleeding test to see, the surface area of a broadhead versus other broadheads, how quick it takes to drain things like that. It's cool, but what I really wanted to see is how it reacts with some type of tissue surrounding that container. So what I did was I found a recipe of ballistics gel on YouTube, recreated it, and then put a balloon inside that ballistics gel. What it ended up creating was a fairly accurate representation of something that would have a fluid that you want to remove from it. So that being said, when this broadhead hits, because of the way it's designed, it has drag and it has drafts your arrow, so it has a high and a low pressure connected with it. Now, there's going to be some people it's like, oh, you're comparing, arrows to bullets and how it hit. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that because this creates drag and drafts your arrow, there's a high and low pressure system similar to that of a wing. There's a high and low pressure of a wing. That's how planes fly. Now, that being said, when this hits something, if I was to send this into ballistics gel and it creates a high and low pressure system, it should be able to drain the balloon both on the exit and the entrance. And in this video, you'll see just that happen. Now, to further prove this idea, I took a Swacker 2-blade broadhead and shot it through. The reason I chose the Swacker is because there's no divots, there's no grooves, there's nothing. It's a very sleek mechanical broadhead. And as you see, on the entrance, there's nothing. And then on the exit, all the liquid comes out. So Swacker is my favorite mechanical. It's also one of the ones that I had on me at the time. But it also proves that this broadhead does what it's designed to do and what it's advertised to do. So now let's talk about what it does to shoulder blades. This will absolutely smash a shoulder blade. You've seen the pictures of what it does according to Wards. Now let's talk about edge retention, because after it takes a beating, you're going to have to resharpen it, like any other broadhead. But you're going to have to resharpen it a lot less. The next picture you're going to see is it moving more tissue than what it's designed to do. The idea behind broadhead is traditionally been to cut and lacerate and cause bleeding like that. What this does, it moves tissue. So it's only a 0.91 inch cutting diameter. So it's less than an inch around, but what it does is when it moves tissue, it's going to tear, it's going to rip more tissue than once designed. So you can actually see this in this photo. To get this photo, I just shoot this broadhead through a cow shoulder blade 5 times until it finally decided to stop. Here's what it did to the shoulder blade. I had to cut in half and leave on the outside to slow it down. So it's a tough broadhead. It's going to smash through stuff. You're going to break an arrow long before you break this head. Now, the only thing that you need to do to maintain this broadhead is to oil it. And so what I'll do is when I'm sharpening it, I'll put some oil down and then on my fingers as well. And that's what I'll do to keep this oiled. It will rust. At one point, I didn't oil them for 2 weeks after shooting them, and there was a little bit of rust, but I was able to remove it fairly quickly, and the oil brought it back to life. So that's the only knock I have against them. Other than that, they're a great broadhead. And if you guys have any questions about the Annihilator, definitely leave them in the comments below. If you have questions about my arrow setup or my bow setup, definitely leave those comments and questions down below as well. If you guys like the video and want me to keep doing this, leave a like and tell me what you want me to do. If you have some broadheads you want me to shoot, leave them down in the comments. I'll try and get to them. I'm a college student, so I'm not going to be able to shoot, iron wills or anything crazy like that, any crazy premium broadheads, but at some point I wouldn't mind. But I'm really happy with how these did, and I will see you guys in the next one.